and pray. Watch and pray. The reading from Luke, chapter 23, verses 13 to 25. Pilate then called together the chief priests, the leaders, and the people, and said to them, "You brought me this man as one who was inciting people. And here I have examined him in your presence and have not found this man guilty of any of your charges against him. Neither has Herod, for he sent him back to us. Indeed, he has done nothing to deserve death. I will therefore have him flogged and release him." Then they all shouted out together, "Away with this fellow! Release Barabbas for us!" This was the man who had been put in prison for an insurrection that had taken place in the city and for murder. Pilate, wanting to release Jesus, addressed them again, but they kept shouting, "Crucify, crucify him!" A third time he said to them, "Why? What evil has he done? I have found in him no ground for the sentence of death. I will therefore have him flogged and then release him." But they kept urgently demanding with loud shouts that he should be crucified, and their voices prevailed. So Pilate gave his verdict that their demand should be granted. He released the man they asked for, the one who had been put in prison for insurrection and murder, and he handed Jesus over as they wished.
In our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies. Away, never dies. Away, within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies. Away, never dies. Away, within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away. Within our darkest night, you kindle the fire that never dies away, never dies away.
As they led Jesus away, they seized a man, Simon of Cyrene, who was coming from the country. And they laid the cross on him and made him carry it behind Jesus. A great number of the people followed him, and among them were women who were beating their breasts and wailing for him. But Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For the days are surely coming when they will say, 'Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bore and the breasts that never nursed.' Then they will begin to say to the mountains, 'Fall on us,' and to the hills, 'Cover us.' For if they do this when the wood is green, what will they do when it is dry?" 2 others also, who were criminals, were led away to be put to death with him. When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And they cast lots to divide his clothing. And the people stood by watching, but the leaders scoffed at him, saying, "He saved others. Let him save himself if he is the Messiah of God, his chosen one." The soldiers also mocked him, coming up and offering him sour wine and saying, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." There was also an inscription over him, "This is the King of the Jews." One of the criminals who were hanged there kept deriding him and saying, "Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed have been condemned justly, for we are getting what we deserve for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come in your kingdom." And he replied, "Truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise."
Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.
We now come to the final moments of Jesus' life. Darkness falls over the land. The curtain of the temple is torn in two. And with one last breath, Jesus cries out and entrusts his spirit to God. This final reading invites us into a moment of rupture when something sacred is torn open and the distance between God and humanity collapses. As part of last night's Maundy Thursday service, we invited worshipers to write their responses to a sacred question. What barriers are blocking you from bringing your whole self to the celebration of Easter? Their answers, our answers, were written on the fabric before you. As we listen to the final reading of Luke, and after we sing our response, this fabric will be torn in two. We tear it not out of anger and not out of despair, but as a powerful act of faith, even today, trusting that whatever walls we've built, whatever burdens we carry, whatever lies we've been told about who belongs in the Easter story, God is tearing those barriers down. And just as the temple curtain was torn, we now tear once what separated us from the holy, and we prepare to bring our full, imperfect, beloved selves to the mystery of Easter. A reading now from Luke 23, verses 44 through 46. It was about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m. While the sun's light failed and the curtain of the temple was torn in two, then Jesus, crying out with a loud voice, said, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." Having said this, he breathed his last.
Tremble.
Thank you for staying, for walking Jesus to his very end, for hearing his story and honoring the grief. As you leave here today, we invite you to read the poem on the back of the bulletin. Read it today or read it tomorrow. Let it accompany you through Holy Saturday, a day of waiting and of wondering, a day of not yet. Read it slowly. Sit with your own grief, your own longing, and your own in-between. And as you go, may you carry with you the truth that even in death, God is not absent. The God who created you, the Christ who wept for you, the Spirit who breathes with you. They go with you now, even in doubt, even in death, even to the end of the age. Go in peace and go in silence, to wait with those who wait and to mourn with those who mourn. Amen.